Alright, it's no nerd. Let's do an update vlog on Papyrus 3D. Papyrus 3D. So, I started integrating the environment component here in the test map that I'm developing, just to basically prototype new features and sort of work that out. Started added torching, but the positioning is a bit off at the minute, so there's a positioning error here. So, but I've started to sort of like start prototyping environment components basically. I'll go into the technical detail in a bit, but yeah, basically, and then also, yeah, it's like I think the idea will be is that we'll have multiple environments that you can load in. This is just presets in the environment component at the minute, but it's looking a lot more impressive. Also added some lighting here as well, which is good. So I'll add in probably like a list of presets. I've had a lot of more thoughts actually on what is this engine for. Like it started off as like an interactive fiction project purely, but I think I'm going to make it something similar to like a simple adventure game engine without making it have huge feature creep, for example. Like, you know, I'm not going to make I do want it to have this engine to be able to make it so that you can you know, create like a sort of virtual D&D adventure, but obviously it can't be associated specifically with Dungeons and Dragons because, well, I could get sued. It's their system basically. So I'm going to obviously leave it so that anybody who downloads the engine and wants to use it can define their own sort of mechanics. Obviously it's a game engine, so it needs to have flexibility within the system itself basically. So one thing I do need to think about is implementing the basic combat mechanic. So this is starting to look like, you know, I know it's still quite bland in terms of the actual, there's not much in the environment, but essentially if there was enemies in this environment that you could define in the map editor, then obviously you're going to have to be able to fight them in combat. I'm not making this a first person game, I'm just going to say it from the off. Though I might add in now the first person camera element, because I think I can basically, and also I'll add it as an optional anyway. I don't know. I'm getting I don't know. Like I'll add it as an option. So basically, I'll add two modes, so you can either do it as a fixed cam thing, or you can do an FPS experience maybe. That might be not the worst idea, but again, might be overthinking it. Anyway, I'm not gonna ramble for too long. I've already gone on for what, 3 minutes. This is the map editor, so we've got like a top level cam. I've not added any interfacing here yet, but this is loading from a template. So we've got a 25 by 25 height and width plane, and the idea is that you'll have probably some sort of UI element here on the right, and then you can select each one like a basic map editor, right? And then you can basically, the system will then generate the JSON on the fly. And most of what I've been doing is just trying to figure out the data structures for the you know, for creating this, but doing it basically on the fly. So for example, this here, once I've done the JavaScript for the placement stuff, you know, like create the two-dimensional array and then just basically the code I'm writing will then create that into a routine that's already basically working in the basic sense to create this will load, and you know, that's that really. Let me just, obviously I can't show all I'm still working on large bits of it, so how many So I've separated out map editor as well. It's going to be its own separate JavaScript file because it's like basically a tooling system within the engine. I'll talk a little bit about I'll talk a little bit about how I'm restructuring it as well. So, like, I'm basically going to add all the demo game. Demo game will be like a full working game that I'll include with the engine files once it's done. The game is just like sort of my working folder at the minute, which will probably actually transfer into demo game originally. Not originally, eventually. Sorry, and yeah, look, I'll do that basically once it's done, really. But I might include some generic textures that are just free, royalty free. Same for maybe sound, but like just like test ones. This is mostly at the minute like a working directory, right? JavaScript is, well, A-frame, extras. I'm using a few components, but I'm trying to keep it quite light, but obviously it's expanding a bit more. But the main things I'm actually writing is main.js, which is basically where most of the core code is. It's what, 300 lines, 326, so not too heavy. Components is 117. Some of that I've been sifting through and removing some things, adding a few others, but that's not too heavy either. Map editor is obviously like the map editor. You got map templates. I've talked a bit about these structures before, like the arrays, and if we go to, and this is basically the templates. This is what the templates actually look like. The array templates, the map templates basically. So load in 25, 50, 50, and this is how I'm going to do the map creation now basically. So I'll have like several of these templates. Like I need to obviously add a few more. They are just like literally an object with all these settings and then the data array, and that property data has this array in it which has just empty at the front, so it's just get the floor. But then when you go into here, so that is 25, that is the 25 template. But I'm going to have it so that you can raycast and then add different pieces basically. And then when you do that, you can build up a basic game scene. And you can, like, let me show you the current worker one I'm using on map test, which is the first scene I showed before. That is yeah, map JSON. So this is how it actually looks like. That's very hard to fully get what's going on there, but I mean, if this is all there are 48 columns there and 48 rows, right? So the user doesn't need to see any of that, but that's basically what it's generating in the background, along with the character references, the torch references, la 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 la. So I can pass in strings as well, and then I can check. I'm actually using, you know, the difference between numbers and strings in the code itself. So like, you know, you can basically check for a char, check for a cam, check for specific string plus ID, and then also we've got walls here. Like one just defines a normal wall. I'm going to add probably the option for 10 different textures, and then basically when you, maybe more, why not? I mean, maybe why not 20? Like when I actually get to the stage where it can, the actual map editing functionality is working, 20 is fine. Like I'm just, at the minute I'm just doing one because I'm literally just testing, and you know, when I'm actually writing this stuff in code, like it's quite laborious to have it and test it out and go back and forth. But if it's visual thing, like the map editor that I'm making, so imagine, because I've not actually done it all yet, but imagine you've got some sort of icon here and just click, 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 click. A bit like, almost like sort of like Minecraft, but you're flying around basically. And then yeah, you can just switch between, maybe even just 2, 3, maybe keyboard would be the best way to do that. So this would probably obviously be best done on a PC, of course. You could probably do it on a mobile, I guess, but I don't know how it'd work in VR, and I'm not going to worry about that. This part of it is... So, like, think of the D&D analogy I was making before. It's going to be more like... you know, you'll have like a dungeon master who will be creating these areas, probably doing it on a laptop or something, or a commercial PC. And then obviously your player will be in the scene, which is like the actual final game you produce. They'll be the player, but this sort of stuff is more for the D&D part, I guess. Anyway, what next? So, oh, that's myself. I don't want to see that. Jesus Christ. Touch, scene, settings, dialogue. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. But basically, that's just some of the ideas of how I'm going to progress things. And hope that's interesting. By the way, the music playing in the background is that's actually the other vlog, funnily enough. Dark Cold Synthwave post-punk mints by Nowhere Planet. So actually, I'm not subscribed to them. I thought I was. I've listened to this mix a few times. Actually, I didn't sub to them. Yeah, so this is Nowhere Planet, by the way, if you want to check out the music. Yeah, I mean, like, I love listening to this sort of like post-punk music. Like God, electro wave, gothy stuff. That's my CV. So yeah, yeah. I'll leave it there. Papyrus 3D. I've had some good news today, actually. Just to end the video on here. Like and subscribe, by the way, if you want. I've got a new job, so I'm now going to be doing this this sort of work for my work. I'm just got to work. I've got a new job working for an agency, so that's pretty exciting. Looking forward to that. So I'll probably be starting that in a week, so I'll be hacking away on this for the next week, and then I'll you know, I'll be doing paid work again. So I'll still keep this channel active though, and like I'll still be working on this if I can when I get time. But yeah, anyway, I'll leave this video here.